Oh, shit, man. Hope this shit don't look too ashy. Hope it don't look too ashy. Alright. It's the reflector. Here to reflect what you choose to neglect, man. Listen, okay? This video gonna be about, and people can join in if you want to. This is my second time using this StreamYard, but why are people afraid of the unknown? Why are people afraid of not being previewed to something that they've never seen? Or why are people afraid of like something they don't know, right? Because this can be as simple as a culture practice, right? And one culture does these things that's completely general consensus being known because it's been constructed, planned out, so everybody know what it is, you know what I'm saying? And then you got another culture that does the same like technique as far as they're cultivating a culture, but they're doing it, the actual practices at hand don't be the same matching up with the other one. So one culture could look at the other one, and since they don't know exactly why these people do these things, it could cause like this weird ass I'm gonna put y'all over here. It can cause like this weird ass like outlook of like, damn, you start by default on a subconscious level cast stones. Even if you don't mind it, you still look at it like, well, I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Or, dawg, that's not what I'm used to. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little form of how basically whatever you don't know about, that's like what you're afraid of, in a sense. That's like what you fear. You fear the unknown, right? I know y'all heard that saying, fear of the unknown. So let's get into it, right? This is what the fuck I be talking about all the time, as far as the reality constructs and things that are given to you to suit you. And it ain't things. Sometimes things is like a form of a mental state, a form of an outlook of the world and a mental perspective. So like, you know, when somebody come around telling you some shit that you ain't heard, so this ain't even gotta be culture no more. This can be American. But you know, you got black culture and all this other shit. All that shit don't matter. But we Americans, so we speak English. So it's like one person can come at you and be like, tell you some real shit. Damn, that shit got cold quick. Damn. Tell you some real shit. I wasn't drinking that, by the way. They can say some real shit, but it's like, since it's not recognizable, you don't have no recognition for none of these things, then my goddamn leg was itching. But then you won't even try to do anything else, nothing more, nothing less than like look at it like it's opposing you. Look at it like it's gonna harm you. Look at it like you're gonna start making this type of sphere of reality, a fear of reality, a type of worldview. That's all that is, all the same shit. A worldview that this is wrong or I won't never be a part of it. Because it's not to say you gotta be a part of everything. It's just to gotta say you can believe everything. Like if it's actually came into fruition where it's a practice now, it's actually something you see in reality, like people that be poaching animals or people that be killing animals to eat them. Like if it's there in reality, there's no reason for you to look at it like, oh, I don't agree with these things, right? Because half the reason why is because it's unknown to you. Because look, people have already put out preconceived thoughts about people that be killing animals or people that harm the world, the earth, right? But it's like, that's not even the actual root of what that practice came from. That's just a bias for you, like I said, to be given to suit yourself with those mind frame, those thoughts, those plannings, and you being able to, okay, use that to point the finger like, oh, I don't agree with this. But what you don't understand is the actual reality of it is you're biased, okay? But beyond that, it's like you're afraid of what's not known to you. So since that knowledge ain't on you, in you actually, so you can't form your own opinion due to your own actual stance of how you really feel, then you just tag along what the general consensus is giving you. So it's like that. Like people that, let's just say, like people that do OnlyFans, right? Since you don't know about the root of why somebody would even present being on OnlyFans besides, oh, they're hoes, oh, they don't want to get no job, that's something that is given to you. Now, you can come to those conclusions when you think about it yourself. Eventually, like, you'll be like, oh, okay, they can't get no job, but that's not to actually think about it in a negative way or positive. It's just to think of it like, damn, anybody that makes any type of business gonna start from basically saying, all right, what's my gifted talent and what can I present to people and make it a routine, consistent thing where this is what I'm known for, this is my position in life, and this is what I'm getting paid for. Like, you know, when you don't know the actual, like, what the fuck the ground basis of it is, it's like, damn, you'll start just casting stones, pointing the gun at people, pointing the finger. That don't fit me, that don't suit me, that don't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that, practice that. You know, like, you gotta really think about these words. And you basically saying you're gonna get suited with what's been preconcepted for you to just grab a hold of, because we all want to feel fulfilled on the inside. So sometimes we use the subconscious of all of these plans, these plannings, these constructs, these squares for you to put yourself in a box of. You know what I'm saying? And you just start being in that box. You start actually viewing out like that, you know, without being light enough to be like, all right, I'm not going to get sucked into no reality realm based thing. I'ma just actually come from my heart and how I actually feel. So if you're against something, just know you just might have a deeper rooted thing going on that you just might not have reconciled or might not have paid attention to. So that's what these constructs is for. They give you these things so you can be like, all right, I can just stand on this bias, because there's all different kind of constructs and boxes, all the way to the actual business people running all these things. Like if you ever talk to a rich white person or just somebody that's actually been in it on a broader level, they still got boxes that they in. And this is when you get into people that be reading books, that be trying to be billionaires and learn about all of this shit. It's like you still in a box. Just look at it from purely how you do it. And if you live life enough, if you do certain things, you'll start seeing like, damn, like I actually can do these things without a credential, without spending too much time in a fucking classroom and stuff. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but hey, if you got actual results and actual like confirmations in front of you, like you didn't manipulate it, it's just what it is in front of you, then that's how you know like that shit is real. Like being able to come to your own conclusion beyond what's being given to you. Okay, remember the square for you to you to be put in a box, in a square, in a conclusion that other people has been before you came up with, concepted, it's been given, received into. And so now you're in that same place because you don't want to take the actual time for your own discernment and your own experiences to come to a certain conclusion. Come from the heart. We in the heart chakra, goddamn, you gotta come from the heart. You know what I'm saying? Be comfortable with your actual vibe, your state of being, your experience. Alright? So like, yeah, let's go back to being afraid of the unknown, man. Look, so motherfuckers, people being afraid of the unknown, okay? All that fucking shit means is, like, what's not known is, so look, this is like a real subtle way that people are afraid of the unknown. When basically it could be somebody you close to and they say something that might not be known to you. So let's just say they say something like, people say the earth is flat. So to somebody else that ain't never heard that before. So think of it like this, not like a bias, but it's somebody, I'm gonna tell you the bias, but somebody ain't never heard the earth is flat. They're gonna be like, automatically that's not known to them. Now, if they thought about that before, like AKA thought about, like everybody has, but let's just go back 5 years ago, and people were saying the Earth is flat. Like, people that didn't know, it's like it's a whole different views of ways that people can see from their state of being. So one person could be like, no, that's not right. Like, we've been taught this and that, right? You got another person that be like, that kind of makes sense, because honestly, how is it round if you see airplanes flying and they like fly straight? It ain't like they get bent. You know, that they come up with all these logics to because they're in a biased state of knowing that, damn, this can't be right because the school system been messing me. You know what I'm saying? The schools, the what we've been told in life been wrong type of energy, right? So this is two different biases. So they're gonna look from those worldviews to look at the fact that the person can intellectual property, a property of an intellect, a light form that people guide themselves to. They're gonna be looking at this either way and still being basically on a certain side. So one person not even gonna consider it at all, and the other person gonna consider it, but only for their own bias. So only for their own experience, what makes sense to them. Oh, what they can tag along for themselves, what they done been through, but not actually tied to like a universal thing. Like everybody can have this now. So if you use discernment, you take the center path, you take what's real, then you'll be like, all right, I can see how people think that this is a dome, that is flat, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, things were built in a flat way. Even though there's hills, it's like, it's still like a fucking picture. But then boom, you'll start realizing also though that, damn, but at the same time, we're not in a fucking animation. We're not in a fucking drawing. We're not in a fucking game where it's just like flat and it's just one person, like Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't that. You feel me? But that's a good way that you can tie it. But at the same time, this is what lets you know, okay, well, bam, there's actual spectrums. Because I know when I go and I daydream or I actually go to my dreams, it seems like everything is flat. But sometimes you can fall off a cliff. Sometimes you can actually fly in your dreams. Sometimes you can, you know what I'm saying? So there's different spectrums and different densities, heaviness and lightness, and weight and light, and like a light form, like an imitation of that actual spectrum. So it's a light where you can see in a light of a density, a density light. But yeah, so shit. I need some water. Hold up. Like density. Like density and light. So you know, this video is purely just to let people know, like, bro, fear and being afraid is kind of all the same thing. So don't look on the internet like, oh, fear, like, you know, you start learning, oh, fear controls all and shit. Cause me telling you, I'm gonna be like, yeah, for the most part it do. That's why we've been being controlled for so long. But it ain't like fear is bad. Bitch, you got a fear, but you made a sphere out of that fear, and that's just purely a state that you didn't once know about, as far as on a lighter level, metaphysically, when you cultivated your actual feeling, your state of being in the first place, your subconscious. At one point, that was a fear you had. It was like a state of you had to cover yourself with forms. You had to cover yourself with actual intellects, properties, knowledge, obtain what's around you to contain it, so you can suit your spirit, you suit the thing that's out looking, observing, so you can actually know the environment, know yourself a little bit, and relate it to the environment, you know? So that's considered a sphere of reality. But remember, we all have our own shit. But so when you imagine this shit beyond yourself and look at it, but if you start with yourself, you'll be able to make sense of it. Oh, like, oh, okay, so when I see reality, this is what's happening. Anything that's not known. So you can look at COVID, right? COVID, that's a preconceived idea that was constructed and cultivated to give other people, to basically explain an unknown symptom, an unknown thing that's going on, an unknown like emotion, state of being, experience that we all are going through. And this is how you know it's purely dependent on what people actually believe in it. Put their being in that lie. They be lie within that so they can be fulfilled. But you don't always have to do that. But everything is useful at a certain point. You just have to actually use it truly from your own position of vibe, your actual vibe of how you feel and how you shelter your comfort and your emotional stance and your phase that you might be in due to the experience. When you weigh all that shit together, then you'll be genuine and be like, damn, like I said, COVID ain't real. Especially these not these days. I mean, the COVID, I'm talking about clovers and stuff. But I'm talking about, yeah, you know, it's just a title. Remember, name, title has meaning behind it. So light, the name, you know what I'm saying, the information, the representation, the rep, and then the meaning behind it is the dark. The actual thing that's pushing it, the actual thing that's making that be real, be like vibe, flourish. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is. So, you know, if you look at shit like that, it's not to say it ain't real, because it's very real. Just because of the name and title and what people put on it. And there's actually things that's making people sick and making people die out of nowhere. So since you're afraid of the unknown and you don't want to come to conclusions yourself, you get suited with something that's being preconceived to you, that's been planned to be constructed to give to you. And this is mentally. It just made it physical where you actually got doctors and stuff talking about it because it's in the curriculum of their knowledge now. But if you look at it from the internal, metaphysical way, state of being, worldview, experience more like, then you'll be like, damn, people just are experiencing these dramatic body changes due to this environment changing a lot, due to a lot of these basically chemical practices, reactions that science has been doing, all these nuclear type things. You can look at that like that's half of the reason that's been sprouting into the atmosphere. Now it's coming back to bite us, but also purely the times, ages, the spectrum, the whole frequency we all in, period, which is being more aware of certain things that you once weren't aware of and using the energies that we all have, the attributes, the water cycles, the spectrums of light, the spectrums of symbols and shit, and be like, all right, this, goddamn it, it's because it's a whole lot of dramatic ass changes. So of course there's gonna be a lot of people that drop, because that's just to let you know that there was once old things, and people might not have chose to go with those new things. You know what I'm saying? Because they were too in the past, too comfortable what they're used to, too routine based, too rooted in what they know and don't want to not know nothing. Because when you don't know nothing, you actually more likely to know something. And that saying right there could probably spook some people. But if you just being real, you just be like, okay, if I don't know nothing, then that will actually let me know something. Because if you don't know nothing that's going on, then you'll actually be able to make something out of it. It's almost like if you don't have nothing in front of you, eventually, so it's like a person in jail, eventually they'll be able to know that they can make something of themselves, so they start straightening up. You know what I'm saying? They start actually putting their mind into things that they need to be doing, you know? Because they started to realize, damn, I don't really know anything, or, you know, or let me be light enough. Let me be free enough to be like, all right, I ain't nothing, so I can be something type of shit. Anyway, so yeah, when you're more like in the not knowing, the unknown, the dark, I guess, it's better for you to actually know. But you see, what we do with the dark though is we make it like black. We don't even make it dark, because dark is just purely like the vibe and emotion that's going on in the current event, and you not having to put your own emotional bias on that. You just use what's there. But you know, we use that too much for black, where it's like now it's your actual vibes, your subconscious your experiences that you putting together to actually put out there now. Like your ass trying to put out how you feel, but tie it to the current event, and now, you know what I'm saying, you just start fucking shit up at that point, you know? So there's a time and place for the dark, you know. It's good to be in that place, but because when you're in the dark, when you're in the not knowing, because dark is probably the closest to nothing, but nothing is not even a spectrum of light though. So, but you know, it's just to think of it like, okay, because darkness is tied to inner. So when you go inner, as within, as without type of shit, it's like, oh damn, I can see how I vibe, because this is what you made in the first place, your inner world. And then it projected outwardly. Because if that weren't true, why was you basically in a state of darkness in your mom first, then you came out in the light? Why do you go to sleep? Not that that's first, but when you go to sleep, you in the dark and then it wakes to the light. Why the fuck do you have to get ready, set, and then go? So getting ready, or Kamehameha, you gotta like pull in first, in, then go out. Why punches you go back and then forward? You know what I'm saying? It's like back, past, dark, forward, future, potential, light. You know, shout out to Uriel. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all the same shit, y'all. It ain't complicated. The motherfucking, the more you don't know, the more you don't just believe in anything, the more light you are. But you do also believe everything, because it is true to a certain extent. Because if it's here, it gotta be true. If it's sustained in reality, it has truth to it. It's up to you to find the meaning behind that preconceived thought, that preconceived planning, that business, that word, that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta like know behind it and shit. But you know, shit. Let me think. I think that's really all I need to say about this shit. You know what I'm saying? I think that's it. I really think that's it. So, like I said, yeah, so anytime you're coming with some new shit, remember, new things could be in a form of an intellect, in a form of an emotion, in a form of a feeling that you project out. And it's like, if that person, if that subject, or if that broad, those people don't quite understand it, then they're gonna automatically start forming preconceived biases. So now they're in a box. They put themselves in a box to view from, because everybody want to fulfill themselves. So you get sucked in a state of being because you have no actual ability to have a discern, an actual stance of where you want to come from. And so you start using and suiting yourself, and then you will probably start getting mad when things start, the world actually is changing. And so that means these damn boxes are gonna end up fucking passing your ass by. They ain't gonna be able to be suitable for you no more. They're not gonna be useful for you no more, because that's just a construct. You being useful and all that shit is like a construct. We all need it. We all need to bound our certain attributes, our certain light, our certain darknesses, and actually just see what comes out of shit in reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need that. But, you know, to just use that without your actual true experience, your actual true vibe, goddammit, then this is what's gonna make your ass weak and a sheep. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta bow and bad interpretation, because you bad. You gotta back up. You feel me? You need your grass fed to you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get your clothing, your cloth shaved off, and that shit used for some other fucking shit. Because you can't do nothing yourself but grow too much goddamn hair like a sheep do, and need that shit cut off by something else. And guess what? When they cut it off, they gonna suit that shit somewhere else. So that's just a practice as far as what is actually being done to everybody, and to a certain extent, when you don't have no actual spiritual power, no actual observer ability to stop light form, stop your ability, stop being fearful, stop being in the, just because you in the dark, you don't know something, you just want to run to an actual like state of being that's already been made for you. Now remember, we all here, so there's all kind of states of beings that you can get help with because teamwork, whoever is basically vibing in that same state will come to that part. You know what I'm saying? With you. So, but at the same time, it's not to look at it in bias. You know what I mean? Like, just because you afraid of not knowing, you afraid of looking not presentable, you afraid of not making sense. You feel me? So, fuck all that shit, y'all. Alright, chill out and just really come with your own shit. Okay? Come with your own realness. Like I said, being afraid of unknown, it ain't even that deep. It's really just purely something you haven't quite been aware of yet. And so you either choose as a spirit, the observer, you either go through the time of you doing it yourself and actually correlating what you see in reality from these things you've been doing as the observer. You've been, putting in the work. You either do it like that, or you just stay as a spirit, as the observer, and you just, which you're gonna be that, but you just pretty much get guided, you get sucked into, you get naturally selected, bounded to certain biases that you choose to not see your way out of, that you choose to stay in a box and just keep filling that up, being a sheep, keep filling that cloth up until that shit get cut from you, aka that mind state ain't working, and whoever, whatever, the being that ever made that whole state in the first place, that whole circumference, that whole boundary, a whole reason for even putting that light out there, a reason, dark, to put that light in the first place, just sucked your energy, sucked your cloth, sucked your whole shit up, and now you feel lost. And it don't go no further than that. It don't go no further than that. Stop being scared of the unknown, and stop giving people weird reactions when you don't know something. Just come as you are. And everything don't need a reaction. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, just be real. Damn, if you don't know something, ask a question. Damn, if you don't want to talk about something, say that. Damn, if you don't know, you just don't know. But don't try to sit back, cast stones, or sit back, observe, be in the dark, be in the magic hand of energy, and be okay, let me see the reality of what this person is doing, saying, so I can be the one that plans the fall of that. All right, I'm just gonna use what's useful to me. And that's the thing too, y'all gotta remember, it's still subjective to you. Even if it's been generally accepted, nowadays you still can get picked apart even when other people are along that certain trail of thought or that state of being, to look at that being, look at that state that they're vibing in and look out from there and shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta still be, you're still subjective to what you see as, because nobody can truly see it exactly from you. We just be in the same environment, if anything. We be sharing the same circumference, just like the people you around. But at the same time, there's environments that can get extended and you don't be within that shit no more. So, yeah, man, don't be scared, man. Don't be scared, man. It's a reflector. It'll reflect what y'all choose to neglect. No, I forgot to end this shit. Is it this? Please don't ask again. They my only friend. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, but fuck with y'all. It's a reflector here to reflect what you choose to neglect, motherfucker. All right.